Hey, what's up, you guys? So I wanted to come and talk to y'all about something that's kind of old that I have been meaning to make a video about, and was like, I'm gonna still make that video, right? About the Carlee Russell situation, along with the Ebony law that they passed, along with all these immigrants coming into here, right? I believe it's all tied together. Of course, I know with the government and with the powers that be, the hidden hands, they have one thing that serves multiple purposes, right? It's not just for one agenda, it's for multiple. So it's other things that could have been going on with it, but this is one I believe and how I think it's connected. So when that thing happened with Carlee Russell disappearing, if y'all don't recall, she was the young lady, black woman, who claimed to be abducted, kidnapped, while trying to check on a child that was left by itself, supposedly on the side of the road. And then she was kidnapped from that. Well, things in her story didn't make sense. I made a video about that when it had first happened as well, though. But what I want to say is, I was wondering, like, what would be the purpose that they would be polarizing the story? Because it's always a purpose. And anytime they're pointing to us to look at something, media, government, and all that, and entertainment, they all work together, CIA, government, media, entertainment. So I'm like, what are they trying to distract us from? What is the purpose of this, right? Because it was things already going on that they were trying to distract from. But I'm like, they polarizing the story about this girl who supposedly lied. So whether it was a psyop situation, meaning that she was a paid actor and none of this actually happened, or whether it was real, she truly did this, it's a reason why they decided to blow up the story. Well, a few months after that happened, actually, it wasn't even a few, maybe a month or two, 6 weeks after that had happened, they came out and said that they passed the Ebony bill, right, which is connected to the Amber Alert. Amber Alert is for missing children, for if they go missing, to make sure the public is aware and can keep eyes out for these missing children. And that's because the public makes up the majority of how they solve the cases, right? I know a lot of people think that it's just the technology is far greater and them being feds and police being able to track and find people, but no, it is actually everyday people who are witnesses, who are being observant, who end up solving these cases for police. So Amber Alert is a law, a bill, where they send out abroad to the communities that a child is missing, and of course their description, whereabouts, all of that, right? Well, they decided to change it and make a separate Amber Alert system based on race, right? If this ain't clear as day, race is. I don't know what it is, but they decide to, on race, separate it to where they now have the Ebony Alert, which is for black children, black people, if they go missing. And I'm gonna tell you why they would do this. So out their mouths, they said it is to better serve blacks, for us to be able to help them when they go missing, when that's not necessary. We had the Amber Alert, which was for all children if they go missing, for resources to be put behind them to find them, as well as for the public to aid in that. So it wasn't necessary to make an Ebony Alert specific to black people, unless you want to reroute resources and be able to dictate if you're going to follow certain protocols when a black child comes up missing versus when a white, right? So I looked at the fact that it was a way for them to be able to systemically separate funds and resources, since they already say, well, don't really care when black children go missing. But they subconsciously put in the minds of the public with that Carlee story to not care when black people go missing. And I'm gonna tell you how they did this, because with us finding out that what she did was a lie and a hoax, and with them already claiming that black children are bad, prone to being rebellious, even though a black child ain't no more rebellious than a white child. But anyway, prone to being promiscuous. Like, they have all these lies that they have painted on black people and black children specifically. So whether consciously or subconsciously, them putting out that Carlee story has made the public, who do the majority of the solving in these cases, to say, oh, if they see a Ebony alert, to think, what's the point? They probably just ran away. Up, they're probably lying. No one's missing. Up, it's probably just for attention. And for the government, the police, to be backed and not putting the same resources behind finding black children. Since, hey, look, they just showed a black girl. She lied. Nothing was wrong. And they're mishandling. They're wasting resources. So now the public will be more prone to back the police in them not trying to find black children. And the public will be less apt to aid them in finding black children. Because you got to think, them search parties, those numbers are going to dwindle now for people who come out to say we're going to help on a search party, and come together to try and find black children that's missing, posting flyers in their shops, doing printouts, asking, being alert and paying attention to what the description was of these missing children, stuff like that. They're going to be more apt, the public at large is going to be more apt to ignore it, to not care, because they were just downloaded subconsciously to not care by the media polarizing that Carlee situation of her lying about this. Like it wasn't a white woman some years ago who lied about being kidnapped, and staged or plotted a whole thing, to where the truth of it, that she was going and cheating on her husband with different men and had left with an old ex-boyfriend and had him chained her up and all of that for fake. Like, it's white people been doing this stuff. But they programmed in the masses mind that no, this is black women are lying and wasting resources. So they're not going to care. They're not going to give attention to it. And you got to look at the fact that whenever they say the government, these bills, these politicians say that they're doing something on behalf of, to whatever they say, they're actually doing the complete opposite. So them coming and saying that we have now racially divided and separated the Amber Alerts to make an Ebony Alert to better serve you is a complete lie. It's actually to do the complete opposite, for them to not serve us, for them to not put the same resources behind finding our children, and for the public to not be in an outcry, an uproar for them not doing it, since they were consciously or subconsciously, whichever one, downloaded to not care or trust or believe in the first place. And the other interesting thing, I feel that this all came at a critical time, because they've just let in several immigrants that they don't know their background story. They don't know if these people got a record. They don't know where they came from, and they aren't keeping tabs on them while they're here in America. And for the most part, they were between the ages of 18 to 40. If you pay attention, these people who have led in the country were majority men, not families, not husbands, not fathers, majority single men between the ages of 18 to 40. That they have no prior history of who these men are, and they aren't keeping tabs on them while they're here. They can't even verify if the name they gave them is even true. Right? And they're all spread it out throughout our country. So they basically just let in an army. And I know some people might be upset with the choice words that I'm using, but I don't care. If you go select me in 18 or 40, that's an army. These are men in their prime, war age. They let in an army. And we don't know the backstory on them, right? So now, and I think that they chose to do this bill at this time, chose to put that Carlee story on the ether, because we do have illegal immigrants, which means more children are about to be coming up missing. This is not to say that everyone who comes from a different country is a predator or is a criminal for that matter or anything, but some are, a lot are. And what do men throughout history do when they go to war in other countries? They take the spoils of that land, normally harming the women and children in a graping way, if you catch my drift. So they know a lot more children are going to come up missing. And for them to delegate which ones are of importance to them, which ones are putting their resources behind, that's why they, at this impromptu time, said, let's separate the alerts to where now not all children are protected and looked for, with the same amount of manpower behind it, it's going to be specific children. And since we know it's about to be at a much higher rate, let's put in their mind to not even care about these innocent black children that's going to come up missing. You know how most of them, these people come from third world countries where they are already selling organs and doing organ harvesting, where they are already participating in sex trafficking, whether as people who supply the demand or whether they are the ones who are in demand of the supply, like all kind of stuff. So they just put targets on black communities, black little girls specifically, head, and told the world, do not care if they come up missing because it's a lie. Up they ran away. Up they promiscuous. They already tried to promote black women as being more promiscuous. They have done that since slavery, although it was not true. Believe it or not, if you look statistically, white women are actually very far more sexually active than what black women are. But through media and entertainment, they are trying to socially engineer black young girls to dress provocatively, which doesn't necessarily mean they're doing anything at that time, but to dress provocatively, right? And at some point, right, those who are already there to be more promiscuous. But they're doing that with all women or whatever. So it's very unfortunate because they have already over-sexualized black children. Now they have programmed people to think that black children aren't important enough to go look for if they come up missing. And they've allowed several million men into this country. And they know that the rate is going to go up for missing children and women. And they've divided the resources, divided racially to say we're not going to put our resources behind certain ones that are in danger because of what we've allowed into this country and what was already going on in this country. For we know that Jezebel spirit, that lust spirit, perversion spirit is running rapid between OnlyFans and Pornhub and all of that. Like the country's already over sexualized, right? They selling shampoo commercials through sex. They selling gum. Do y'all remember that icebreaker gum? They were selling sex attached to it. Like, so they are, this whole country as a whole is over sexualized. Male, female, black, white, whatever is over sexualized. The whole world is, if you look at the rate of how porn is consumed, this is having an effect on people. Your mind, your spirit, your sexual conquest and desires, right? Appetite. So there's an effect that's happening because of this. They are aware of it. And to be racist in their in their system that they've created, that they have created art to be imitated by life, and that they have created this bubble, this cesspool, right? They've created it, and their way to reserve resources is to set in place a racist system. But anyway, so that's just all I wanted to come share with y'all, that I had put together. I knew that Carlee situation, it was a reason why they was blowing that up. I was able to connect a couple of months later why they were blowing it up. It wasn't just for a distraction at the time, but because they had this bill switch that they was doing. And I was able to connect to you why at this time they wanted to do this bill switch, because of these immigrants that they've let in. That is practically an army. They're men, mostly between the ages of 18 and 40. And please do not allow them trying to subconsciously program you to dismiss black children missing. Please do not allow that to happen. Please still show up and look and pay attention to these Ebony alerts. So what their plan was, regardless, like I said, the majority of these cases are solved through the community, and it's not necessarily the police. So please be diligent to still be observant, pay attention to these alerts, look for these children. We as a community are going to have to better strategize and militarize and mobilize in safeguarding our own communities and families, setting a standard, and upholding that standard of how we conduct ourselves in our community, how we police ourselves in our community. But anyway, I wanted to come share this with you guys. You guys give me your thoughts. If you think that the Carlee thing was connected to the bill thing connected to the immigrant thing. You let me know, especially since they are not requiring bail money, right? So, right, back again to everything that they do is with an agenda. And they tell us that it's for one thing that's supposedly for good, but it's actually the complete opposite. And I'm going to give you another, right? So, due to the disparaging pay gap between blacks and whites, and you're being innocent till proven guilty, majority black men not being able to pay for an actual lawyer, needing a public defender. Public defenders are persuaded to make specifically black men plea deal out, right, to just try and get it over with. The lawyer is not willing to fight for them, even if that man is innocent, and so forth. And then them not being able to pay post bail, they were noticing how in that system, right, racism, systemic racism was playing a part. So they finally came and claimed they were doing something about it. Like, oh, you know what? We're going to make certain things not bail necessary. And this is to correct our wrong of decades of innocent black men having to sit in prison, lose jobs and careers, lose homes and stuff like that, because they couldn't afford bail money to keep their job, because they couldn't afford a lawyer, so they ended up taking bad advice and plea dealing out and stuff like that, right? So they claimed it was to fix that when it wasn't. It was a whole nother setup. Since we're letting in this army, right? We're not going to commit crime. We're going to make it. Notice how this was all falling in line in this sink, y'all, while y'all keep voting Democrat when they are the biggest snakes that you're going to find. They are the worst candidates to vote for. They are incels. They are sleeper agents in our government set to infiltrate it and destroy it from within. And that's exactly what they're doing. So anyway, y'all keep voting Democrat if y'all won't. But that's why this nation is going down to doomsday. But so they pretend to say it's that when it was really to say, we're going to let this on. We know they're going to commit crime. We're going to make it a no bail so they can get out. We're going to, so now you commit a crime and pretty much they might as well not even bring you into jail. They let you right on out. You don't have to pay nothing. Don't matter if you're guilty, caught red-handed or any of that. You are released. And this was to serve these immigrants that they have allowed in, their secret army that they have allowed in to destroy America from within, do their bidding. So you have to look at all this. This all ties in together, people, for a bigger agenda. That lockdown was to break the economy of America. If you pay attention, the vaccine was their true agenda. Claiming the virus was the means to get to that end result. And as I told you, they take one thing and use it for multiple purposes. So there was a lot of reasons why they had us locked down. A lot of reasons why they wanted that vaccine. A lot of reasons why they're fear mongering, war mongering, and all of this. There's a lot of plays at play that are not for our benefit. They are doing the bidding of the kingdom of darkness. They desire, America has to fall and break down in order for one world order to come in. With America being healthy and strong, there is no way that they can have one world order, one world religion, and one world government. Okay? So I want you guys to understand what's being done. This is all intentional. This is all planned out. The Democrats are Satan's puppets, right? They are not working for America. I have said this saying, and people might not understand or even still get it, but believe it or not, every American citizen on January 6th should have been up there at that Capitol building. That might go over some of y'all head. Others, I hope that you sit down and you really think and look at what's going on. Open your eyes, because they got you blinded in all directions. They on all fronts. We are under attack by our own government. It's a spiritual war as well as a physical war, as well as a mental war, as well as a financial war. It's all of it, okay, at once. And they're toppling this government and this nation. Open your eyes. That's all I want to say.